So friends, my endeavor is to present before you the way local governance in this country has evolved. Why is it important? Why are we not talking about local governance elsewhere in the world? Because India continues to be the largest democracy in the world. Managing this country, I'm still surprised. We have a program called civil supplies. The rice is being sold at 2 rupees a kilogram. I am still surprised. How a farmer grows rice, gets collected from one place, goes to the mill makes it, paddy to rice, then it goes to a godown. From the godown, how it goes to a village. In a village, there is somebody who receives a card, takes only 2 rupees and delivers rice to the ultimate beneficiary. And I am yet to get a complaint till today. I had been collector of a district called Kadapa. I was always willing to get a complaint. Sir, in my village, this fellow has not distributed rice. Or somebody to come and say, sir, yesterday rice must have come. There was a lorry which broke down and we did not get rice. No, the system works. But unfortunately, the quality at which the system works is the question. But the quality at which the service is made available is the question. Today, the country, somehow or the other, for example, the petroleum, you look at the petroleum thing, kerosene, to an ulterior-most village of a tribal area on a hilltop. If there are only 4 households, for them also kerosene goes and kerosene gets delivered. But how is it getting delivered? What quality? Instead of 20 liters to be given, he may be getting only 16 liters and 4 liters. Somebody may be siphoning it off. Or kerosene which should reach on every 5th, it may reach only on the 10th. So 5 days, the poor family, 4 families must have been in darkness. So the quality matters. India, systems still work, but quality is the question. Therefore, local governance is very important because it is at the village level somebody must take over and then say, my people want clean drinking water, so I will provide clean drinking water. Quality of life. Whiteboard with pen. Quality of life. What does it mean? Health, education, nutrition, drinking water, sanitation, gender-related issues, employment, environment. If all these things are taken care of, the life of an average Indian in a rural area would be better than before. Until yesterday, he was drinking some unclean water or not potable as much. Water which was not clean. Therefore, there were some episodes of diarrhea reported. Today, if the local body is capable of providing every household clean, potable drinking water, the quality of life has improved as much. Children do not suffer from diarrhea. Therefore, IMR will not occur there. This is the role of the local governance. India somewhere lost out even on that. This wonderful man, when he said, Arey Baba, we have got independence, all right. But at what cost? Non-violence. Not a single blood dropped. Nobody gave huge lives, at that point of time, 1947. Anywhere else, independence movement meant huge revolutions, fighting against the powers. losing lives. But here was a great man who said, yes, we have got our independence. He must have been in jail for more than 22 times. But at least he knew how he can shake the most powerful British government. And he knew where they were weak and we were strong. Peace. And when actually independence came, he said, independence must begin at the bottom, please. If you make the Delhi government very, very, very free and very powerful, nothing will happen. Only the leaders will become strong, and the leaders, kith and kin, are at the most a party which is in power, and all the people who are members in the party will be powerful, but the common man will continue to suffer without services. Therefore, he said, the day on which at the bottom, the most vulnerable human being is happy, his quality of life improves. Only that day the country would be independent. Therefore, let independence start at the bottom. He also said, every village will be a republic or a panchayat having full powers. If the ruling Congress party today in Delhi has a lot of powers to rule this huge country, length and breadth. Similarly, a tiny village with a population of 500 people should also be having full powers. Next. See the vision of that man. My God, that's why he is known as Mahatma. Great soul. Maha is great, Atma is soul. Mahatma. Next, please. What I intend to present before you is local governance. What was local governance in India before independence and after? There was another watershed event in the local governance of this country. And that was the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments. Amazing amendments. There also, we expected brilliant things to happen. We thought this country will be the most democratic, and the common man will be the most powerful. The rural and the urban, tiny administrative units will each one of be like Switzerland, very democratic. But unfortunately, nothing of that sort had happened. This was from the year 94 onwards. We went on talking about it. We continue to be talking about it. Sometimes during my presentation, I'll be very caustic on my remarks when it comes to our own government. But it's democratic, and this country, if it is appreciated, it is appreciated for its democracy, isn't it? You have a voice. You can always express your opinion. But in this position as an officer in the government, I may not express, but in the interest of the participants, you need to know where you have to grow and where you should not grow, and where you have to be a little more cautious. If you see certain of these developments occurring in a nascent, lovely, beautiful democracy like Bhutan, what should prevent such things from happening? And therefore, I will be slightly caustic when I comment about my own country and my government. And last, I would also speak very briefly about the post-2004 scenario and the Panchayat Raj system in our state, in this state called Andhra Pradesh. Next. Yeah. India had very traditional systems. Even in the prehistoric, if you see, the Vedic times, post-Vedic times, and during the recorded history of 600 BC, we had small little assemblies of people from the same habitation trying to manage their own affairs. That's why even certain of the caste panchayats in certain villages had the assembly of 5 people. Panchayat, the name itself had come from that. Panch in Hindi, Sanskrit, is 5. So the assembly of 5 had become Panchayat. Panchayat is the local administrative unit. If there is a village, smallest village is about 500 population. From out of these 500, which means obviously about 100 families, from 5 families, 1 each would be thrown up. At that point of time, they were only males. You know, gender problems, the biases, only male. So 5 people came up to look after the administrative requirements of that small village unit, and therefore it was known as the Assembly of 5 or Panchayat. Then, after some time, urban areas have sprung up. The concept of urban area was only after the British had come, or the East India Company had come into the country. Before that, urban area was not a concept at all. So the largely populated habitations were known as the municipalities by the East India Company, which was continued by the British government. And even after independence, we continued to call the urban areas as the municipalities or corporations. So the local bodies in these towns or urban areas, they are known as municipalities or municipal corporations. The first municipal corporation was, municipality, not municipal corporation, was in a town called Bhimli near Visakhapatnam. I wish we don't take you to Visakhapatnam. I'll still try. Would you love a train journey? Yes. If it is a train journey, we will try and see whether you can go overnight and can come back. It's an amazing place. Okay. So Visakhapatnam, there was a small village called Bhimli, which became an urban area. Thereafter, 1687 Madras Municipal Corporation Act has come in. In 1870, when I'm talking about 1687, that was the East India Company time. You know, these British guys, they came in as merchants and swallowed all the wealth and amassed all that, prosperity this country had. And ultimately, he became powerful with a gun, and all our provincial kings were still fighting with the swords. You see, that's where we lost out. The gunpowder and the gun gave away India to the East India Company. In 1870, Lord Mayo passed a resolution for the town-based local bodies, which means that was the first time the towns or municipalities came into picture. Then it's a long history. Lord Ripon passed another resolution and called it first time local self-government, May 18 in 1882. So if we are talking about self-government, it's not a new phenomenon. Self-government was there even in 1882 when Lord Ripon passed a resolution. 1930s and 1940s, Gandhiji talked about Gram Swaraj. Gram is a village. Swaraj is a free entity. Swa in Sanskrit means our own. Raj is Raj is what? Kingdom. Swaraj, our own kingdom. What is your own kingdom? Gram. Gram is village. Village is our own kingdom. We are the kings of our own village. Self-reliant, but interdependent. We may be self-reliant as far as our village is concerned. But when it comes to what we don't have to get from you, we are interdependent. I may grow paddy, you may grow pulses. So let us be, very self-reliant and at the same time interdependent. We depend on you, you depend on us. It's a very interesting story how Swaraj concept also was a fuel to lead the independence movement in the country. Then there were two individuals, Ambedkar. Ambedkar is known to be father of our constitution. But somewhere, Ambedkar and Gandhi, they differed when it came to, ideologically they were different when it came to local governance. Ambedkar looked at local administration as a sink of localism, den of ignorance, which is very unfortunate, and narrow-mindedness of the communities and communalism. But Mahatma Ji said, it's complete independence at that level. For many people to whom dependency is necessity, we need to teach them to be independent at that level itself so that he knows the best what he wants or what she wants. Who am I sitting in APARD in an AC room trying to plan for somebody in an interior village carrying agriculture operations? For the kind of crops that he is growing, if urea is required as fertilizer, I may give DAP to that village, which is of no use, which happens. It happens in some of the highly developed countries also. What is required by the local community is best known by the local community itself, and therefore allow them to decide what they want, plan what they want, execute what they have decided upon, and be happy at that level. Anyway, both of them were ideologically different, but the constitutional support came in the form of Part 4 of Article 40, which talked about village panchayats. It said, every village shall have a panchayat. That's what the Constitution said. It also said, the state shall take steps to organize village panchayats and endow them with such powers and authority as may be necessary to enable them to function as units of self-governance. That's where the first wrong foundation was laid. As you know, we have a central government and a state government. The Constitution said the state shall take steps. Unfortunately, there are various subjects which come under the central list. I'm sure Mr. Wangdi would know it because he was a law student here. A central list. Some subjects are exclusively for the center. The railways, the forest, the income tax, revenues, organization, institutions like Reserve Bank of India. They are all with the center. There is a concurrent list on which both state as well as the center would very facilitate nicely and then administer. There is a third thing called the state list. Unfortunately, Panchayat Raj has been put into the state list. And therefore, today, the center passes an act or tries to say, please implement this. State says, sorry, in my state it will not happen. There are problems, please, I cannot do it. Unfortunately, all that the 73rd constitutional amendment dreamt could not actually happen because the subject of Panchayat Raj is kept in the state list. The state shall take steps, and states have not taken steps. It does not mean everywhere the situation is like this, but Kerala had done a commendable job. West Bengal had done better. Not as much as Kerala, but better than Andhra Pradesh. Karnataka had done well. Tamil Nadu had done well. Maharashtra had done well. But all other states, Parliament, Assembly, they do not want Panchayat Raj institutions to survive. You know why? If the Panchayat Raj, the Panchayat, Gram Panchayat, or the middle tier called the block elsewhere or Mandal here in Andhra Pradesh, if they become very powerful, the importance of the MP, the Member of Parliament in Delhi, will be lost, no? And the importance of an MLA, Member of Legislative Assembly here, yahan par, in Andhra Pradesh, will also be lost. Who will care? This man. But a true leader is one who should have thought, I as an MP, my very valuable statement please, quote unquote, I as an MP or MLA am given a mandate by the voters in my constituency to make policies for the good of people and the country. And the policy that I make must be implemented by a Gram Panchayat, a Jilla Panchayat, or a middle tier called the Block Panchayat. But unfortunately, some states in India, both parliamentarians and the legislative assembly members, they are not happy if a small little fellow at the Gram Panchayat level takes all the powers and says, I don't care you. It has not happened, but they are scared. And therefore they don't give that kind of powers. That's why when the Constitution said the states shall take steps, those steps were not taken by the states. I hope I am very clear. So when it comes to Bhutan, my request is, let Parliament and the Assembly restrict themselves to making policies, creating acts, say that this is what will happen in Bhutan. And we are very proud of one great concept that your government is looking at or implementing, the Gross National Happiness Index. Like our right to work which is not there anywhere in the world. Your GNHI is also not there anywhere in the world. And in fact, India is now seriously contemplating. How can you think of even some abstract concept called gross national happiness index, my God? So all our salutations are to your country, your parliamentarians, your king, your subjects. But parliaments and assemblies must be restricting themselves to making policies. If you say child marriage is not good and therefore say anybody who is getting the daughter married below 18 years of age is punishable, you pass an act and review what has happened to that act. Give the authority to the local body. Let their little man at the village level, elected by your gumps, isn't it? Gups. Let that man take care and say, in my village, no please, you can't marry, you can't give your daughter away in marriage because your daughter is only 17 years. That's the way it will work. In India, acts, beautiful acts are Child Labor Act, Anti-Dowry Act. You know what is dowry? Yes. My God, how many years back we passed? And we have a Feticide Act, abortion without consent. You have an act on scheduled caste, scheduled tribe atrocities. You have an act on the tribal lands can't be disposed of, sold, or lands in any tribal area cannot be owned by non-tribals. It's called Land Transfer Regulations Act 1 of 1970. Beautiful acts. I mean, sometimes when we read the acts alone, we feel, my God, where are we? We are on the top of the world. Think of a problem, there is some regulation on the problem. But implementation? Because the parliament and the assembly thought they can pass and they can also regulate, which is impossible. How can 294 people sitting in Hyderabad assembly monitor the whole thing? If only 500 people, 10 people elected for the 500 people are given this act and said, you know, eve teasing, there is an act here in this country, you know. What is that called? College lo kottaga join ayyite em chestaradi? Anti-ragging. Ragging. On ragging there is an act in this country. You know, if somebody joins, a fresher, a senior in the college, he tries to, you know, mock some kind of ragging. It's called ragging. It's an enjoyment. But sometimes this enjoyment crosses a limit and they make, you know, young boys to open up clothes and then dance, all kinds of, you know, all fun. But, you know, it ends up in some serious offenses. So even on ragging, there is an act in this country. But who implements? Suppose these powers are given to that little fellow, poor man, representing 500 people, and in that 500 people village there is a college, and if somebody is ragging, 5 out of these 500 elected, you know, five elected people out of these 500, you would have gone and said, damn it, how can you rag? Come on, isn't it? You would have controlled. How can these 294 people sitting in Hyderabad assembly control this? How can 570 people sitting in Delhi control for the whole country? This is the problem. If we trust the decentralization, giving away powers to as low as possible, to the small administrative unit, will be a great success. I think we are on the right track. Then I'll talk about many developments took place. There was a Balwant Roy Mehta committee report which said, no, whatever is happening now in the Panchayat Raj system requires some changes. 20 years later, once again, there was a Ashok Mehta committee which also said, you know, good that many changes have come. But even then, these are all some of the problems, so let us make some more changes. Like this, there was an evolution of this system from one period to another, and ultimately, 1989, there was an amendment bill, 64th Amendment Bill, introduced on 15th May 89 in Lok Sabha. Lok Sabha passed, but Rajya Sabha defeated the bill. For the same reason. 92, once again, Lok Sabha passed 73rd Constitution. You know, if you have the structure that we have, most of you may be familiar, but still I'll draw it up for you. If this is the parliament, it's for the country. When it comes to the states, there are assemblies. And when it comes to below the assembly, what do you have? Local governance. Let me say LG, local governance, or local bodies. What are these local bodies? At the district level, at the middle tier level, and at the village level. District level, we have a Zilla Parishad. At the middle tier level, for the whole country, we have something called a block or Panchayat Samiti. At the village level, we have the Gram Panchayat. Then these three units, they are also interconnected in the sense the voter at the village level will elect Gram Panchayat man, and this man will also elect, the Sarpanch will elect somebody here, and this man will elect the Jilla Parishad chairperson. Indirect elections in some cases, direct elections, slightly complicated. I'll avoid going into the details. But what all I would like to say is, on the rural front, you have Zilla Parishad, blocks or Panchayat Samitis, and the Gram Panchayat. But on the urban side, you have municipalities or municipal corporations. Municipality is a small one. Municipal corporation is Hyderabad, Visakhapatnam, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata. So when those two amendments came, 73rd, 74, for all these rural local bodies, 73rd Constitutional Amendment. And for urban local bodies, ULBs, there was this 74th Constitution. What beautiful things, they were all. At that point of time, I was working as a project director of a district. Project director, rural development, which tries to implement a large number of welfare programs, agriculture, animal husbandry, poverty-related programs, which Garibi Hatao programs. All the programs that will drive poverty away, that kind of program I was implementing. When the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Bill I read, my God, I thought, what is going to happen to this country? India will be one of the most powerful local bodies country in which every village will manage itself. Where it is beyond their capacity, they will seek the help of one level above. And that level above, that Panchayat Samiti or the block, I said, if they will also manage within their, they would have something like 15 into 10, about 150 villages they would have. And if they can't manage beyond their capacity, they would seek the help of another level above, Jila Parishad. What a beautiful story, is it? Looks beautiful, isn't it? But never happened. So 73rd for the rural local bodies and 74th amendment for the urban local bodies. And 73rd constitutional amendment came into force from 24th April 93, and the 74th came into force because both the houses of parliament, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, they passed these bills. And 93 1st June, the 74th constitutional amendment also got passed. You see what kind of subjects it had in it. As I said, West Bengal, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, they all looked at some reforms in those years. But Andhra Pradesh lost out. Slowly something has happened. We lost our vision. We did not believe in ourselves that empowering the local bodies will bring in good to us. And therefore, some disturbances occurred. But the milestones were, mid-80s, in fact, we had a fantastic discussion that there must be a government at the district level. Each district, our districts are very huge, please. Average population of our district is 4 million, 40 lakh. And Andhra Pradesh has 23 such districts. 23 districts of 40 lakh population, 4 million each. Hyderabad is a district urban. You know what is the population? 1 crore 20 lakhs. One district. So each district should be a government. That's what was the debate. I wish if I was the Prime Minister at that time, I would have said yes. Aapko 560 districts are there in the country. Make every district 560 small governments. Let all the governments be answerable to Delhi government. USA mein aaj, how many states we have? 50 of them. Absolutely independent. And 50 states which are completely independent. And some of them are culturally, traditionally so different. Still when it comes to the nation as a whole, they are all together. Somebody must have said, yes, every district is a government by itself. But nothing happened. Beyond that, if we see the changes that occurred, April 24th, 73rd Constitutional Amendment, June 1st, 93, 74th Constitutional Amendment, and ultimately, today the Constitution has something fantastic called PISA. It's called Panchayat's Extension to Scheduled Areas. For all those scheduled tribes who are living on the hilltops, away from the normal civilization, living still by hunting, who are easy to be cheated. A businessman can go there and easily, he can give a dry fish or some matchboxes to him and can take away whatever minor forest produce he has got. The worth of a dry fish, they are very fond of dry fish, The dry fish may be 10 rupees, but in exchange, still barter there. In exchange, he can take away 200 rupees worth of tamarind. That's the kind of, very innocent, nice, sweet, very contented, happy little life. For those people to empower them, in order to tell them, please, your tribal area, your forest. In certain countries, people themselves said, don't come to our area, please. It's our forest, it's our natural resources, it is our minerals, the gold underneath, the iron underneath, the bauxite, the zinc, the copper is mine, our people's property. Don't come. But in our government, the Constitution said, please make people to understand that it is their property and make them powerful. Let them manage their affairs. Today we have a wonderful minister called Kishore Chandra Dev, who is the Minister for Tribal Affairs in Government of India. One of the greatest champions of the tribal rights. I'm very proud that he is also from Andhra Pradesh. He is the one who is still struggling to tell that no non-tribal can go into a forest area and exploit the forest. And he is also trying to tell, Arey Baba, make those people powerful, let them understand. If people remain innocent, they will continue to be cheated, isn't it? So, that PISA 1996, it's called Schedule 5 areas, some panchayats extended, would also give all powers to them to be a king of his own area. An elected representative, a sarpanch of that area, a panchayat of that village in tribal area will be a real good kingdom. This is what it said. Anyway, I drew it there. Yeah, on one side, if you see to your right, you will find a Zilla Parishad. In Andhra Pradesh context, it's Mandal Parishad. Instead of Mandal Parishad, in the rest of the country, we call it Panchayat Samiti, Gram Panchayat and Gram Sabha. On the other side, it's the municipality. Okay. I'll also skip this, but I'll give you a printout of this. You can carry it if you want. Or the pen drive that we are going to, have they given you a pen drive? No? Yeah, they load the whole thing into a pen drive and each one of you will be given a pen drive. Yeah, this is what it says. Gram Sabha given extensive powers in a tribal area to safeguard and preserve traditions, customs, cultural identity. I would love that you please pick this up, and if you desire, I would surely make one more small session on this. Is there somebody called Pem among you? Ah.
He's in Bhutan, sir, because of her child.
Oh, that lady seems to be a batchmate of Jayalakshmi.
Oh, I see, sir.
In the UNDP? Okay. Rinzi Pem is one who is very knowledgeable about this subject, I'm told. But even then, if you see, we also have in Bhutan small habitations, very small habitations, isn't it? And if somebody from, suppose, any part of this country, India, some Tamil speaking fellow or some Bengali or some Uttar Pradesh man comes with a small interest of establishing a power plant. What's the guarantee that this man, after establishing a power plant, will not also try to exploit the wealth of a tribal area? And if the laws are not very strong, and if foreign investments can come, as it is being debated, FDI is being debated in this country so very strongly, but even then, of course, we are allowing the FDIs ultimately because both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha had voted favorably, inviting the foreign direct investments. So if something like that happens, there must be some kind of a constitutional protection to those small little habitations. Do we have tribals in the constitution defined in Bhutan? No, everybody is equal. Everybody is equal, okay. In that case, maybe certain areas where mineral rich areas, an exclusive act, and give away the powers to those local people so that they'll protect it better than the state at the center, is the only thing I would like to inform here. This is what PISA says. Yeah, ultimately, the 73rd Constitutional Amendment said, please transfer the following 4 Fs. Functions. Whatever parliament is doing today or assembly is doing today, please, part of your functions as far as they relate to a local, small, little village, transfer them. Functionaries, there are some government officers who are working, an agriculture officer. Why should agriculture officer be under the control of a district man in an urban area when agriculture happens in a village? Isn't it? Animal husbandry happens in a village. So transfer them, functionaries also, to the local body's control. Funds. Why should assembly sit and vote and give a budget? Or why should you spend money to construct a small little road in that village? Give the money to that man, he will construct a road. Isn't it? You know what happens normally? If you want to construct a small school building in a village, village has a sarpanch and other elected members. If you give money to somebody else at a different level, at the district level, Zilla Parishad, or at the assembly level, some officer who is an engineer, he engages a contractor. And a building to be constructed for 1 lakh rupees, he will construct for how much? 80,000 rupees. And he will pocket 20,000 because he is the contractor. Suppose this 1 lakh rupees is given to that sarpanch, the Gram Sabha, the elected representatives of that village. Number one, they will construct the building with all that 1 lakh, or if they have their money, they will put another 10,000 and they will construct a beautiful, much bigger school for 1,10,000. Is it not correct? Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
This happens because you have given money to him, trusted him, and asked the sarpanch, a lady sarpanch or a male sarpanch, to go ahead and please construct a school. If they had another 10,000, or one person in that village may come up and say, "Arey Baba, you are constructing a school. I give another 5,000, please. My donation is 5,000. Name the school after my deceased father." Possible, isn't it? And last, some kind of freedom. Please allow them to live their life, it says. Yeah, Article 243G in the Constitution also talks about the powers, authority and responsibilities of panchayats. These are the 29 subjects given to the local bodies in rural areas. See, beautiful subjects. Starting from agriculture, land improvement, land reforms, consolidation, soil conservation, minor irrigation, water management. My God, look at this. Animal husbandry. We are very brilliant in planning. We do a wonderful job in planning. And uski baad puchiye mat. Fisheries, social forestry, minor forest produce, fuel and fodder, maintenance of community assets, rural housing, drinking water, poverty alleviation programs. The program I was in charge, I was telling you a little while ago, public distribution system, elementary education, technical training, vocational training, adult education. If there is an adult who is, grown up individual who doesn't know how to read and write, please teach him. Libraries, cultural activities, welfare of the weaker sections, particularly SCs and STs, social welfare, welfare of the handicapped, mentally challenged, retarded is the old word. That's what is used in the Constitution but not amended as yet. Women and child development, health and sanitation, hospital management. My God, isn't it? Why should Delhi manage a hospital in a village? Is the question. But actually it's not Delhi which manages, but it's, in order to make you understand, I'm just saying, why should somebody sitting in Hyderabad manage a hospital in a village? Family welfare, roads, culverts, bridges, ferries, waterways, non-conventional energy, market fairs, khadi and village industries, small-scale industries, food processing, rural electrification, distribution of power. My God, look at this. Constitution, the big book, says, please transfer all of them. And the states say, hold on, sorry, not now. Urban, next subject is urban. See, beautiful subjects here also. 18 subjects in this case. Because agriculture won't be there in urban area, isn't it? Therefore, it is urban planning and town planning. Where a road should come, how a road should go, where a house shall come, where a library shall be constructed, isn't it? Even now, there is a man sitting here in Hyderabad called Director of Town Planning. That fellow is planning for a town development. How should a road be laid in an urban area somewhere? Srikakulam is how many kilometers? 900? 900 kilometers away from Hyderabad. Somebody in Hyderabad is planning for urban development. Regulation of land use and construction of buildings. Planning for social and economic development. Water supply for domestic, industrial, and commercial use. Public health, sanitation, conservancy. What's the time? Yes, it's time that I should have taken leave. Fire services. Urban forestry. Protection of environment and promotion of ecological aspects. Safeguarding the interest of weaker sections. Slum improvement. Now, is it not the municipality which is competent to design a development plan for the slums that are coming up around Mumbai? What is the largest slum in Mumbai?
Dharavi, sir.
Dharavi, my God. You go look at that Dharavi, my God. It looks like another mini India. All, shed, tin sheds, no sanitation, no clean roads, no proper drinking water. If Mumbai has a population of 2 crores, Dharavi has a population of some 20 lakhs. Why should somebody sitting in Mumbai plan for, or a state government of Maharashtra plan for Dharavi? It should be Mumbai Corporation which should be planning for Dharavi, isn't it? Urban poverty alleviation. Roads and bridges, provision of urban amenities, provision of cultural, educational and aesthetic aspects, burials, cremations, cattle ponds, registration of births and deaths, public amenities, street lights, etc. Regulation of slaughterhouses and things like that. Parking lots, bus stops, public conveniences, my God. So the Constitution said all those nice music to ears, but implementation, there are problems. A good design for decentralization should include role clarity. Everyone should know. Delhi man, parliamentarian, an MP, member of parliament should know what is my role. Should I go beyond this? The assemblyman should also know that much. And when it comes to the villages, we must say, please do this. Functions, functionaries, funds, freedom. 4 Fs. Finance to follow function. Now, if you just give the functions to him and no money, how can he function? Aaj dekhiye, if there is a water bottle here, and what else you have? Some chocolates here somewhere? No? Okay. Give me your small bag. Yeah. There are so many items in this: pencil, eraser, sharpener. Every one of them. When we purchase, there is a tax paid on this. Water bottle, we pay 13% as tax. On every one of them, including this container, the bag, we have paid some tax. Even if a rural man buys, money goes to government. Indian population, broadly, 68% rural, 22%, 32% urban. So the rural man has also purchased this. and the taxes have gone to Delhi. If the people will go on paying taxes, if you just keep the tax in your pocket and you decide what to spend, how to spend, is it proper? So Delhi government should also know that of this money in the form of taxes I have got, a part of it should go back to the people from whom I have collected. So we said when functions are given to a local body, there should also be some funds given. Rules of devolution to be very clear. We said clear accountability, please. Having given powers, you're also accountable. You just can't take all the powers into your hands and not accountable to your people. In which case, some excesses will occur there. You may misuse the powers given. The responsibilities may be put to some kind of a misuse. Institutions are able to respond to the emerging demand of capacity support. If some people in that area want some kind of capacity building, we should be in a position to, support that kind of capacity also. A minimum level of capacity to absorb a program through a capacity building approach. If there is a program, Indira Awas Yojana, we construct houses to those people who do not have houses. But if a man who is houseless wants support, if he does not know what is a house, how it should be constructed, how much of that is loan, how much of that is subsidy, how does he construct, where is the cement going to be supplied at what rate, where can he buy steel? If he doesn't know all that, his level of absorption will be very low. Therefore, we must also try to, who will do that? The least level, the smallest unit of administration must take up that responsibility and do it. Okay, this is an index. That's how ultimately, when somebody did a study in 2007-8, Tamil Nadu ranked the highest. This was done by the National Council of Applied Economic Research. When the Constitution said A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, Tamil Nadu seems to have adopted 4.79 out of 10. So, that fellow with 4.79, he was the top. The second state was West Bengal, third was Kerala, fourth Karnataka, fifth Rajasthan, fifth Madhya Pradesh, Sikkim, Uttarakhand, and Andhra Pradesh, our state with 2.85. And see our big brothers, Arunachal Pradesh is 0.57. He said, get lost, I don't want to implement any one of them. He said, I am a king by myself, please, sorry. You pass your amendment or whatever, thank you. And when the state government, Delhi government said, no, first they said, if you don't implement, I will not give money. He said, I don't want your money, get lost. Then slowly the central government went on saying, please Baba, do something. We did only 0.57%. This is democracy if it is not properly understood. See, we are very proud, the largest democracy in the country. But when it comes to freedom, we have, fantastic freedom. Our traffic is the best example of our freedom. Dekha hai aapne hamara traffic ko? You will see that tomorrow when you go to Mahbub Nagar, you will see. I saw the traffic from Paro to Thimphu. Very organized people, lovely people. They know how to walk on the pavements. Our people don't walk on pavements. They walk only on roads. And therefore our buses go on pavements. We are a very free country. Okay. This is the last slide. There are some weaknesses. And if we are not careful about these weaknesses in the beginning itself, perhaps what has happened to India may also happen to any other country. Lack of political will. Who passed the amendment to the Constitution 73-74? The same MP whom we are today saying is coming in the way of transfer of powers. delegation of powers, decentralization. So that man should have had, no, if I call it a book today, 1 year later also I must call it a book. 1 year later, if I call this, there's a whiskey bottle, would you like it? So the political will must be very high. Lack of public awareness. All right. The political boss who has passed the amendment, no, let it go, let it go. Papichu. The question over kada, madhilo. The political boss who had passed the amendment, if he is not doing, our rural population, the local people, 68% of 1.24 billion people should have come onto the road and demanded, why are you not allowing these powers to go to our local bodies? So awareness levels are very poor, therefore that does not happen. It may come in a few years if this is the trend, but as of now it's not happening. Lack of orientation to officials. If you see, there is an institution of a collector, isn't it? Now all these officers, agriculture officer, animal husbandry officer, industries officer, or an engineer, these fellows are all working now under the control of the collector. But these officers, they do not want to go to the control of an elected representative. Unfortunately, they feel very, very embarrassing to go and work under the control of somebody who may be illiterate, isn't it? The Indian democracy permits a man who is an illiterate can become the Prime Minister of this country. So if somebody, the Jila Parishad chairperson or the Panchayat Samiti level elected man or the Gram Panchayat level elected man, if he is an illiterate, if he does not know how to conduct an office, the officer is not comfortable to go and work with him. But this change should also come. Every officer should feel, no, this is a democracy. So if I am an agriculture officer, I must go and work under the control of a Jila Parishad chairman. It's not happening. The elite capture power in highly unequal societies. Our opening remarks started with this. The inequality. In a society like India where the richest and the poorest also live together, if there is an opportunity for capturing a power, it is always the man who has money power and the muscle power. So it is the elite who capture power in societies like India. Bias against women. If there is a woman who is Jila Parishad chairperson, everybody, including the officers, think, what does that woman know? She has been cooking food until yesterday. Suddenly she got, because we created some reservation. Bhutan is very, advanced. You know how to respect a woman in your country. But in our country, we still have, there is so much of change, all right. But still, we have some places where she was cooking food until yesterday. How can she come and sit in this chair? And how can I go and report to her, ma'am, can I sanction 500 rupees to Mr. So-and-so? How can I go and ask, this is it? And if that woman belongs to either a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe, this treatment is much worse. So that it is taking a change, all right, but then it will take some more time for absolute equality between the sexes. Bureaucracy, has not learned how to work. Of course, I have said it already. Decision making not yet broad-based. It's still with the collector, who is the king of a district, continues to be an individual called collector, who, gets selected through an examination called Indian Administrative Service and goes to Missouri for training. How many of you had been to Missouri among the civil servants? No? You, acha, visitor. Okay. Otherwise, Bhutan has a system of, recruiting your senior citizens, civil servants also through our IAS, and training is also given in Missouri together. I thought, yeah. Then rules and procedures not adequately. Yes. Even now, there are some states which have not framed rules for panchayats extension in scheduled areas, which was passed in the year 1996. Till today, no rules are framed. And how would you go ahead? So these are some of the problems. So India has grown all right. It has a fantastic history of not only democracy, managing itself, went through a lot of crisis after crisis we went through. We have been winning many stories. We have been very good at, as compared to past. We are able to provide more clean drinking water to many people than before. We are able to eliminate polio, smallpox, etc., etc. But if all this can be done in the current situation, if only these powers are given to the local bodies, both urban as well as rural, our progress would have been much more. This is all I wanted to tell you. It's a question of, perception. I'm concluding. The problem is with perception. People who sit in Parliament and Assembly, the next speaker has come? Not yet. Okay. People who sit in Parliament and Assembly, their perception that, my God, what will happen if all the powers are given away to local bodies? I may become, in the Parliament, I may become unimparted. The man underneath, he also feels, let those powers come. It's perception, you see. Let those powers, if not today, tomorrow it will come. I will keep this parliamentarian away from my village. He shall not enter my village without my permission, isn't it? This is a small story about the perception problems. There was a man who was going on road in a car, 45, 50 kilometers speed. There was a small bird which had hit the car. When he was going, the bird came, hit the windshield of the car. What would have happened? The bird has fallen unconscious. So this poor fellow, driver, he stopped the car, picked up the bird, brought it home, gave some water, and he had a cage. He kept it in the cage, hoping that it will wake up after some time because it had drank some water, etc. And he had hung it and went out on his some work. This bird, after some time, got back to his conscience, opened its eyes. You know what the bird thought? My God, I had hit a car. That fellow must have died. So I am put in a prison. My God, what has happened? I have hit the car. The driver of the car must have, lost his life in the accident. And therefore I am brought and put in a jail, prison. The fact is completely different. Perceptions today in the local bodies' empowerment is as different as that of the story of the bird. We need to I, for one, who very strongly advocate that the powers shall be decentralized and given to the different levels. Today, in a country of this size, we are neither able to do a good planning nor able to do a clean job. Because the controls are with too small number of people, the dishonesty level is also high because you can't supervise as much. And if you don't pay him, you can't control him, isn't it? The simple principle in economics. The paymaster. Who can question you about your work? Only the man who pays you money. Therefore, the perceptions like the clouds should get cleared very soon so that India will have a very strong local body government. I enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much. It was a fantastic morning to me.